Okay, here's our 2-minute video, how to get started with Excel. I'm working on a PC computer. You could be on a Macintosh. For best results, getting started to learn how to use Excel, using a computer-based version is the best way to learn. You'll have all the bells and whistles. So let's get started. I'm going to open up Excel. And before I do anything else, I want to create a blank workbook for the purpose of this activity. And when you create a blank workbook, it's called like book one, and that's not good. You want to give it a specific name. So let's say these are going to be an annual sales forecast. So I click on File and I want to save it. So I choose Save As. And then I select Browse. So make sure you choose Save As and then select Browse, and you can put it where you want it to go. Now, in this case, I'm going to put it in Documents, but you can save it to shared folders and other things as well. But while I'm going into Documents, maybe I wanted to file it in one of these folders, I can. But you also have the opportunity to create a new folder. So I'm going to call this Sales 2020, okay? 2020. And with file name, I'm going to call this Sales and Expenses. All right, obviously that's not the best name, but we'll just call it that. So let's say in sheet 1, we wanted to add some data, but before we do that, we wanted to rename this sheet quarter 1. Go ahead and double click on it, and I'll call this quarter 1. So we'll track quarter 1 items in this area. So I'm going to put the list up at the top here for expenses, and then I'm going to put the month over here. So this would be January, February, and March. That's quarter 1. And so maybe underneath there, I might add for expenses, supplies, travel, and other items. And maybe in a different section of my workbook below, I'll start tracking some revenues. But for the sake of learning to create sheets, let's summarize what we just did. We opened Excel, we named it, we saved it in a specific location, we renamed a sheet, and we entered data. Well, when you first create a workbook, which is what we're looking at, you have the opportunity to create additional sheets. So let's say that you wanted all the data to appear on one sheet. That's great. But if you want to break it up into different sheets, you can create a new sheet. So I can call this new sheet quarter 2. Can I just give you a tip? Let's say that you are going to break it up into 4 sheets, but why not have a template created first? So if this was your template and you wanted to use this for every sheet, you could have dozens and dozens of categories. You don't necessarily want to copy, you could copy, highlight the area you want, do a Control C, go over to your next sheet, and then Control V it in to get the data, or you can duplicate the sheet. So if you right click on any worksheet, you can click on Move or Copy. And so I can make a copy of either sheet and click Create a Copy and click OK. All right, now I have a copy of the quarter 2 sheet. If I wanted this to be after quarter 2, because the quarter 2 copy came here, I should click and drag and move it. All right, so that's a couple of tips for creating your workbook, copying and pasting information from one sheet to the next, and then also copying a sheet. Go ahead and try this out for yourself if you need to. And the next video, we'll talk a little bit more about entering and manipulating data.